Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, something a bit unique. Project Cars 2 invited me out to Sonoma Raceway to try out the McLaren 570S as well as try out their new video game Project Cars 2. And so in this video we're going to be comparing myself in the McLaren 570S on Sonoma Racetrack versus me playing it on Project Cars 2 versus a professional driver with me in the passenger seat and see which one of us is fastest. So we're going to start out with me playing Project Cars on a simulator. There's the start of the race, and so I'm going to take the time from the exit of the pit to the entry of the pit lane. That's because that's where the professional driver exited and entered for his lap, and so we've got our timer started there. Ooh, crashing in the back of the car. That is, just so you know, pro tip, if you hit the back of a car, you can actually slow your vehicle down a bit more than just using the brakes alone. Pro tip there. Going off the track a little bit, that's actually the real racing line. A lot of these guys don't know about it. Oh goodness. Clearly a driving prodigy. Getting around that McLaren. Coming up on turn 6, the carousel, passing a few cars. And let me just preface this by saying, you know, I don't play any video games. The last time I played a video game was probably a year ago. I'm hardly ever doing anything like this, so, you know, it shows in my talent, I believe. But nonetheless, passing a few cars, I believe it was on just like the standard normal settings. You know, you don't have all the driver aids, but you have some forgiveness in the system. Bump that guy out of the way. You know, obviously I've attended many racing schools and I know the proper etiquette on a racetrack, so I always make sure to follow that. You know, play safe, make sure nobody gets hurt. Just a little love tap there, nothing major. Coming up on the end of our lap, which is the pit entry, and there we have it, 1:27 for my gaming time, so 1 minute 27 seconds. Okay, so now we are viewing my lap in the McLaren 570S, and yes, that is a Mustang EcoBoost, which is my chase car, and hopefully I can keep up with it. Coming out of turn 1. And, you know, something worth mentioning here in the McLaren, so they didn't let us put it in track mode or turn off any of the traction control, and as a result, if you look in the display, and yes, I'm already making excuses, but if you look in the display in the top right, you'll see a little yellow light flashing when I put my foot down. Or even, you know, partial throttle. Like, it was a pretty sensitive traction control system, and so it was fairly intrusive. And even, you know, when you're getting in a straight line like right there and putting your foot down, it would kick on. It really didn't want me to keep up with this Mustang, and so as awesome as the McLaren 570S is, I do want to say that in sport mode with all the traction control aids on, when you're on a track, it's pretty intrusive, and it's not going to let you get crazy at all, and it'll even let a Mustang EcoBoost take off from you in a straight line. Here you can see straight line, almost acceleration, and that traction control light flashing as the Mustang EcoBoost stays ahead of me. So interesting to see. Either way, you know, if you're new to, you know, watching someone drive on a track, this is where you start commenting about my seating position. You tell me that I'm too far away, too close. You talk about, you know, my steering wheel position, that's too far away, too close. My hands, I shouldn't wrap your thumb around the steering wheel. My grip's too tight. My grip actually is too tight, but aside from that, you know, people, this is where you just want to start really critiquing my technique and letting me know how you're an incredible race car driver. So I'd love to see that in the comments, and appreciate your feedback. Coming down to the end of this lap here, as we get to pit entrance, letting off the gas. You know, I'm going to add a little bit of time, but anyways, 1:46 on the clock there. Note that the seconds there at the end, that's actually frames, so it's out of 30, but 1:46, so clearly slower than when I was playing the video game. Okay, and finally, the question on everyone's mind: can the professional beat my lap time? Well, of course he can beat my driven lap time, but can he beat my amazing video game lap time, which I set? So one of the cool things to watch here is actually the G meter, much higher Gs than you'll see when I was driving. I think it reads as high as 1.4 within this video. Pretty cool to watch. Notice the grip technique there, one with the thumb wrapped around, one with the thumb on the steering wheel. That's to make sure all the haters are confused. They're not going to know what to do with this. Some of them are going to say, you know, make sure you keep your thumbs out. Some are going to say keep your thumb in, and as a result, you know, he throws everybody off. 1.1 G going through the carousel there, pretty cool. I was riding passenger, so he does have the disadvantage of a little bit of added weight to keep in mind, but he gets to turn off all those traction aids, so he doesn't have to worry about traction control saying, hey, no, I don't want you to go fast. And as a result, you can see the lap is much quicker than my lap was. Yeah, I really don't know what to say. I mean, I can't really critique this guy, as he was my instructor for the day, so clearly much better at this than I am. It is interesting, you know, it's all about driving smooth, right? To drive fast is to drive smooth, but when you're driving super fast, your movements have to be relatively quick because you're moving so fast. So it may not look all that smooth, but it honestly was, you know, driving as a passenger, riding along in it. You see quick motions of the steering wheel, but very smooth execution. And look at that, 133. So gaming prodigy Jason Fenske has managed to outtake the instructor when he is out there in the real deal on the racetrack. So we have all learned absolutely nothing today. Of course, a huge thank you to Project Cars 2 for getting me out on the racetrack and letting me play their new game before it was released. I'll include relevant links in the video description. Thanks for watching.